This is ninth lit, and we are reading Song of Roland, and Marsilian is about to kill Ganelon because King Charlemagne has asked him to become a Christian or die. So that's what we just read in stanza 34. So he grabs the sword and says to it, "Full bright you are and brave. In the king's court I've borne you many a day. Ne'er shall the Emperor of France have cause to say I died alone in strange lands far away. Before their bravest the price of you have paid." The Paynims cry, "We must prevent this fray." So all the Saracens there, they don't want their king to kill Ganelon. And so they're trying to talk him out of it. Dominic, would you like to read?
Yeah, sure. The wiser Paynims remonstrate with him, so the king Marcel has sunk back on this threat. Off the caliph, he put us to reproach, thinking to threaten this Frenchman with a blow. It is your business to listen and take note. Saith Ganelon, all this, sir, must I fold. All the gold God made, I'll not forego. No, not for all the wealth your land can boast. To speak the message, so I'm not given scope.
Bless you.
Which Charles the king, that mighty man of mold, has sent by me to his mortal foe. He had on him a sable fur-lined cloak, covered with silk, which Alexandria wove. He flings it back down for blanketry to hold, but of his sword he now wise will let go. And his right hand he grasps both things of gold. The Paynims say, lo there a baron old.
I think we can answer 20. It says in section 35, Ganelon impresses the Saracens. How does he do this, and what do his actions suggest to the Saracens about his character? What did he just do that makes them say, lo, there's a baron bold? Remember, he's outnumbered 20-1.
He takes off his coat and I think he drops his sword.
Well, he puts his hand on his sword, so he's taking off, he takes his jacket off so he can fight. He grabs his sword, ready to use it, and they're impressed. What is it about that gesture that impresses them?
He's
The
prepared.
bravery.
What?
He's prepared to take him on even though he's out.
Yes. What were you going to say, Jen?
I said bravery.
And that's a brave act. It's a bold act. So they are impressed by that. It also tells us that Ganelon, even we admire that. Even though we know he's a traitor, he still has good qualities. That's great literature. The best characters are those that have mixture of good and bad in them. They do some good things, they do some bad things.
How?
Yeah. Katie, you're signing out. So go to Leah when she's finished. She's writing right now, and that's a good thing. Keep writing. Write what you need. She's going to start number 36.
How do you pronounce the first word?
We're saying Guinness.
Guinness?
Yeah.
Guinness approaches the king and thus addresses him. He saith to him, Do you bring me to vex you? You do bring me to vex you. Harlem thus they do, that half France in possession. A Christian faith must of you be accepted. And one half Spain he will give you
Tenure.
The other half is for Lord whose method, a right proud pleasure you will have there for co-tenant. If these conditions should by you be rejected, then Saragossa will he'll besiege and invest you, and by main force you shall be seized and fettered. Thence to the city of Aix you'll go directly. You shall not ride on Hofbray, nor on Destrier, nor for the road shall you have mule nor dinner.
So he tells them more of the same. And he tells them that you're going to die if you don't accept Christ. I looked up the word invest. It says in Saragossa, he'll besiege and invest you. The word invest has a whole lot of definitions, but the one we're looking at, it means to surround in order to besiege or blockade. So when he says he will invest you, he will surround you. So why don't we go to Julie?
The king Marcel for very rage went white. He breaks the seal and flings the wax aside. Looks at the letter and reads what is inside. These words to me, Catalan, the French king writes, I'm to remember his grief and his despite for those two brothers, Basson and Basil.
Bastille. And height is there.
Whom I beheaded in
Haltoy on the height.
Haltoy on the height, and if I value the purchase of my life, must send my uncle the Celtic as his prize, else nevermore will he be friend of mine. Marsilian's son is broken and cried, Ganelon's words are madness out of mind. This is too much, he shall not rest alive, give him to me in justice he shall find. Merdinus heard, he strode his blade on high, and set his bat to the trunk of the car.
What did Ganelon just do?
Prepare for the fight.
And how did he, what is the, if you were making a movie of this, what does it look like right now? Where is he?
They're all like circled around him probably.
And where is he?
Sword in the center. And they're in an olive tree.
Yes, and it says, he set his back to the trunk of the pine.
So he's like backed up against the trunk.
Why does he do that?
That way nobody can stab him in the back.
That's right. And so he's prepared to fight all 20,000 of them. Again, ridiculous, but impressive at the same time.
Oh, 20,000?
20,000.
Yeah, they're actually 400,000, we'll find later, in his entire army, but there are 20,000 right there.
I
Yeah.
don't think
What's
numbers are realistic.
What's Burgo?
Oh, yeah, good. Did you hear, Andrew, these numbers are exaggerated.
Yeah.
400,000 wouldn't have been an army. They couldn't have had that many people in an army. But anyway, Wergild is a word that we saw in Beowulf, but I didn't use it. But it means man price. It's man price. In other words, it's an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. It's revenge, if you want to call it that.
Wait,
Where does
can
it
we
say
answer
that?
21?
Yeah.
That's what we're looking at. 21 is how do the events reflect the concept of vengeance and Wergild. It's the same thing as vengeance, but it's more specific. It's man price. It's you get one of our men, we will get one of your men. It's almost like what's an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. And so in this section, there was a letter that Charlemagne gave to Marsilian, and in the letter there's this additional stipulation. What must Marsilian do? Who must Marsilian give to Charlemagne?
His uncle.
His uncle. And why is that? What are the names Bassin and Basile remind you of?
Oh, those are the people who got killed.
That's right. Those were the people that were assassinated, murdered, and in order to make it even, Charlemagne is asking for Marsilian's uncle, who is the Caliph, which is a big shot in Islam. So that's the man price. We're gonna get revenge for what you did to our two guys.
So it's Marsilian's uncle?
Yes.
What's his name?
We don't know. Well, I don't think we'll ever know. But he's called the Caliph, which is a religious title. So here you got at the end of that you got Ganelon with his back to a pine with his sword on high, ready to take on all comers before he's dead. All right. Liza, did you just read, or is it your
Oh,
turn?
no, it's not. Unto the orchard the king Marcel repairs, of his best men he takes with him a share. And thither came Blancadrin with white of hair, and Jurferet, who is his son and heir, and the Caliph, his yeoman officer. Quoth Blancadrin, call in that Frenchman there, he'll serve our ends, to this I've heard him swear. Fetch him yourself, for rest the king declares. In his right hand Count Ganelon he bare, into the orchard where king and council were, so that they began to plot the treacherous snare.
So Blancandrin and others are trying to talk Marsilian. Don't kill him, let's use him. That is Ganelon. Let's use him. Let's figure out how we can use him to our benefit. Don't kill him. And in 39 we get a little more of that. So Andrew.
Wayne's fair sir, said Marcel, I allow something too lightly. I treated you just now. When in my fury I have struck you down, by these pelts of sable fur I vow, which of good gold are worth 500 pounds. Richly I'll quite you ere the next day be out. This I'll refuse not, said Ganelon the count. God, if he please, shall balance this account.
I wish Mariah were here, because she explained this really well last period to the class. I was having some trouble. The last line of number 39 is an example of a double entendre. By that we mean what? It's a double something. They're two of something.
A double what?
Entendre. It's one of your words. It's in that list on the first page of yours. But underline that line. What is a double entendre?
What is an entendre?
It's the last one in the list.
Oh.
All right, it means a double meaning. Entendre here, we're going to translate it to meaning. So this line has two meanings. Anybody have any idea before we get into it? All right, so Marsilian has insulted and threatened Ganelon. What did he just do in 39? Now that he's been told we can use him, don't kill him, what does Marsilian now do? He apologizes. He says, when in my fury I would have struck you down, something too lightly I treated you just now. By these pelts of fur I vow, and so forth. He's going to give him some money. Why is he giving him money? He threatened him and was wrong, and now he's apologizing. What's the money for?
Make him not just decide I'll kill you anyway. He's not getting his stuff if he kills him, right?
See, who kills who?
So if Blaine might just decide, you know what, you insulted me, I don't care if you apologize.
Okay.
But if
That's
they
good.
give him money, he'll
Right.
probably be more likely.
When we sin against somebody, let me try it a different way. When you go to church and do the Lord's Prayer, you get to that part, it says, forgive us our sins as we forgive those who sin against us. All right, what else do some churches say? Trespasses, forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. What's something else people say? Is there any Presbyterians in the room? Because Presbyterians typically say, forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Now, why would the word debt be appropriate when you're talking about sins and trespasses? And why do we use the word debt in that context?
Is it like, because, like how you're saying with the man price is for eye for eye thing, so if you sin against someone, then they can sin against you or something?
If you hurt my feelings, or let's say I hurt your feelings, you might say, he owes me an apology. We use the word owes. Why do we say that? Why do we say you owe me something? Yes?
We have a sense of justice that, like, there's gotta be some kind of, if we do this, then this has to happen, and if they do this, this has to
Okay.
happen.
So in other words, in a sense, when I insult you, I am in your debt now. I owe you something, right? Isn't that what a debt is? You owe something to somebody? And so when Ganelon says, God, if you please, shall balance the account is that relationship with Marsilian. Marsilian has insulted me. He owes me something. And if you give me these things and apologize to me, now you don't owe me anything. We're even. Who's the other person that has insulted Ganelon? Roland. And so when he says he shall balance the account, it could mean two different things. It could mean the account he has with Marsilian, who insulted him and owes him something, or it could be the account that he has with Roland, who insulted him and owes him something. What's the only way that insult that Roland is going to be paid? What's the only way that? That's right, Roland's has got to die. So you see the double meaning here? The account could refer to Marsilian, or it could account for Roland. Well, she did a better job than I did, but that's if that's enough, we'll go on. That's what we just answered 22. Yeah.
So it's just that it can mean either Roland or.
Yes, the account, meaning the debt, the insult, could refer to the insult of Marsilian and the debt now Marsilian owes him, or the debt that Roland owes him that can only be paid by the death of Roland. Andrew, is it your turn, or?
I just went.
Okay, we'll go to Ben.
Is that 40?
Yes.
Truly, Count Gwyneth, then said the King Marsil, I have in mind your right good friend to be. Of Charlemagne fain would I hear you speak. He's very old, hard life his has been. 200 years and more I know he's seen. In lands so many his body he's fatigued. Hard strokes so many he's taken on his shield. Rich kings so many he's brought to beggary. When will he weary of fighting in the field? That's not his way, said Ganys, in the least. None knows the emperor, or looks upon his mien, but says of him, a right great man is he. However, I cited his prayer and his esteem. His worthy in honor would still outrun my theme. His mighty valor, who would proclaim in speech? God kindled in him a courage so supreme, he'd rather die than build his knights at need.
All right, there are at least two examples of hyperbole in number 40. Anybody want to point any of those two out? Yes, sure.
Would it be 200 years or more?
Definitely. How old is Charlemagne in history, historically?
Like in his 20s, I thought when this happened.
Well, it's 38, but that's close.
Yeah, that's
Closer than 200, right? Yeah, so he wasn't 200, he was 38, so that was hyperbole. Do you see any other hyperbole there? When he says at the end, a right great man is he, howe'er I sounded his praise and his esteem, his worth and honor would still outrun my theme, his mighty valor, who could proclaim in speech? So he's exaggerating. This guy is so great, I don't have the words to use. You just couldn't praise him enough. He's so great. That's another example. All right. Yeah, before you do though, would you highlight something? Let's see, what are we talking about here? 11:40, 10:40. Your D, this is Tuesday, it's 10:40. I hate to say this, but we've got to leave. So, thank you, good job today. We'll pick this up tomorrow.